Hello and welcome to the Hibs Observer. I'm the editor, Patrick McPartlin, and I'm joined by Liam Bryce. We've just launched today a new way of covering your favourite football club, doing things a little bit differently and hoping to have as many of you as possible join us on this exciting new journey. What we're aiming to do is do football journalism a little bit differently. We're planning to do this through exclusive interviews, deep dive into tactical analysis pieces. We're going to be working with StatsBomb, a very respected and leading data provider used by a number of the clubs in Scotland and around the world, including Hibs themselves. And really what we're hoping to do is just bring something a little bit different to the table in terms of covering Hibs in the media. So it's obviously interesting time for Hibs at the moment, with new manager in place, hoping to get back into Europe after their little jaunt at the start of this season, and obviously finish as high up the table as possible. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Hibs Observer, what we're hoping to achieve over the weeks and months ahead of us. We're still going to be covering games as normal, and we're going to have all the coverage from press conferences, just as you would expect from any of the other media outlets. So just come to you now, Liam. We've been working on this behind the scenes for probably about a good few weeks now. Just how's it been for you, sort of this brave new world of new journalism, if you like?
No, it's been really good. Been really good, mate. As you say, it's been quite a hectic few weeks. Just trying to get all the pieces together in the background. It's like a few technical issues when you're trying to get to this point, and then but no, it's been kind of really enjoyable so far. And just kind of echoing what you said there, the kind of reaction to the launch this morning has been quite. It's been quite heartening. It seems to have been fairly positive so far. Well, probably kind of completely positive from my perspective, and it's good to to see some people getting on board with it already. Obviously, kind of want to thank people who have shared the stuff on social media, anybody who's read an article so far, and then obviously anybody who's signed up for what it is we're looking to do. And just as you say, we're just trying to just bring something different to the media in terms of covering Hibs. You've kind of touched on it there in terms of we want to look at kind of doing longer, sort of more in-depth pieces, as many kind of exclusive interviews as we can do, from obviously current figures at the club to kind of heroes of the past. We want to look at sort of tactical analysis. Obviously we've timed that to perfection with a new manager coming in. There's obviously a lot of intrigue as to what Nick Montgomery can bring to it. We're looking into doing plenty of video content, so you'll be seeing a lot more of these two mugs right here. And then obviously, the most important things, covering the games, trying to cover those as in depth as we possibly can, getting fans all the information from press conferences, hearing from the manager, hearing from players, hearing from other figures at the club, trying to kind of give you as many angles of the matches as we possibly can. And I think just kind of the overarching thing with all of that for me is just trying to everything we do, we want to try and do it with as much care as we possibly can to give to give people the content that they're looking for. Because obviously we've got the introductory offer on the Sky Sports bar at the moment down below us there. I think the important thing is if we are asking people to subscribe, we want to try and assure people, and I'm confident that we will, is that everything that we do, we'll do it with care and attention. And obviously we want to hear from people as well, in terms of what you would like to see in terms of Hibs coverage, areas that you think are maybe untapped. As I said, we just want to do everything with as much kind of care and attention as we possibly can, and we feel that there's a real scope to just bring sort of more in-depth coverage of the club, and stuff that people will hopefully enjoy.
Yeah, you mentioned there that this obviously is a subscription website. I think this is the way that a lot of media is going these days. If you're asking people to subscribe, you're asking them to part of their hard-earned cash, then obviously what you have to be doing is offering up something high quality, something that people are going to want to pay for, to be happy to pay for. And that's obviously what we're trying to do. As mentioned, we do have this offer at the moment where you can pay £1 for full access to all our content for 6 months. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think that's a really good deal. I think it gives you more than enough time to really get a feel for what we're about, understand what we're hoping to achieve with this new venture, this new project. And I think hopefully people will see over time that it is a worthwhile product to pay for. I think that given the diverse nature of what we're going to have, more of these videos, unfortunately for some of you, and just, I suppose, long reads, the type that you wouldn't maybe get on other websites, and all in all, just quality football journalism about Hibernian Football Club. I think it's quite difficult to stand out in like the current sort of media sphere, if you like. There's obviously a lot of coverage of Scottish football. It's a fantastic product to write about, and especially when it comes to Hibs, there's so many stories, so much history, so much to write about, which I think we've discovered over the past few weeks, especially when trying to select what we're going to be covering in the sort of first couple of weeks and the sort of days and months ahead. I think the main thing that I'd like to sort of put across to the people who are subscribing is that it's not really that you pay your £1 and then that's it. Like, as you say, we do want to hear from people who are subscribing. We want to hear sort of things that you think we should be talking about, what we should be writing about, who we should be talking to. And just, I suppose it's a partnership of sorts. It gives the readers and fans of the club a chance to really kind of, I suppose, almost set the agenda for what we're doing. If they feel there's certain aspects that aren't being covered elsewhere, then that's obviously something we can do. And I think with our kind of drive and determination to make this as high quality as we can, I think that will really lend itself well to sort of a wide range of coverage. I'm really excited as well to not only have yourself on board, Liam, but working alongside 9125 Analysis, aka Craig Nisbet from Hibs Twitter, who I think a lot of people will recognise. He is going to be working on the statistical side of things, breaking down how Hibs are playing under Nick Montgomery, how they could look going forwards, different passages of play. You know what to expect. You'll have seen his article, hopefully, on the website already. And there's going to be a host of other people getting involved as well. More on that to come, as you'll see on the website. I suppose the next thing to do really is just discuss Hibs themselves. It's been a pretty roller coaster season so far, and we're only just sort of halfway through September, really. As you were saying, Liam, Nick Montgomery has come in and he's got his first game under his belt, that 2-2 draw at Kilmarnock. Plenty of, I suppose, positives, but still, a lot to work on the training ground.
Yeah, and I think he acknowledged that himself after the game last Saturday. Kind of, as I said earlier on, maybe we couldn't really have timed this better in terms of the level of intrigue. Not just a new manager, but a manager that maybe a lot of people weren't particularly familiar with before he came in. People always talk about there can be a bit of a managerial merry-go-round in Scotland and maybe the UK at large, but this was definitely something that came out of left field, if you like. Nick obviously coming over from Australia, where he'd had I don't want it not unexpected success, but I mean Central Coast Mariners were certainly underdogs from where he took them. He's obviously he's done brilliantly there, and he's coming over here with with fresh ideas, new ideas, and I think you've said there yourself that there'll be a lot of work for him to do, but I think the initial signs were positive. I think you could see it from the outset against Kilmarnock that even in just a few short days on the training ground, he seems to have got at least some of his his primary ideas across as to what he wants to achieve. It was Hibs could have scored within about 10 to 15 seconds. I think you've seen some of the best attacking play of the season so far in that first half, and I think it was just what's maybe just encouraging for fans, especially from that first outing, is I think you could see straight away what it is he was trying to do. There was clear patterns in the play. there seems to be already a fair degree of buy-in from the players. That a lot of them have spoken about it already, and then I think people can say what they like, but then it comes down to what happens on the pitch. But it did look as though they were busting a gut to try and implement his game plan, and I think that's encouraging in the sense. I think watching Hibs for the season is still very young, but even in the sort of limited evidence we'd seen over the first few games before Lee Johnson departed, it was a bit difficult, I thought, to sort of figure out exactly what it was they were trying to do at times. It felt a wee bit muddled, and obviously it all kind of came falling down in the end. So yeah, very interesting kind of tactical approach. He's come in and he's brought in a sort of lesser seen 4-4-2 formation. It's not it's not something. It's not a kind of in vogue formation these days, the 4-4-2. But it's not. You only need to take a sort of cursory glance at it to see that it's not it's not a Mike Bassett 4-4-2. It's quite a it's quite interesting what he's trying to do. We're seeing the strikers dropping deep to get involved in the link-up play. You would see like Martin Boyle and Eli Yuan coming inside, drifting into wee pockets, and kind of trying to attack from there. You had the fullbacks kind of pushing up onto the Kilmarnock wingers, and it was interesting to watch. Obviously, there will be a period of transition, but I think the first 45 minutes and maybe a bit more were really encouraging in that sense. Obviously, there were kind of some familiar issues arose after that, but in terms of a start, I think there is cause for optimism, definitely there, and I think just intrigue. I just can't see it being dull, I must say.
Yeah, I think that's certainly something that Hibs fans look forward to, is sort of attacking, fast, free-flowing football. Which doesn't often actually come around. That's the sort of, I think, the major bugbear for the fans, is that managers might come in and promise it, but not necessarily deliver it. And I think it was interesting from Nick Montgomery's kind of introductory press conference that he made a point of not really talking about philosophies. I think he said he didn't like to use that word, or he didn't like to kind of go down that route. For him, it was all about working hard and kind of giving 100%, which sounds sort of really basic and straightforward. But I think you saw evidence of that against Kilmarnock, certainly in the first half, and I suppose the sort of opening few minutes of the second half up until Dylan Bence's goal. And I think the other part of Nick Montgomery's kind of approach to management is how he deals with the players. Obviously, you look at what he did with Jason Cummings when he went over to Australia, kind of helped get him back on the straight and narrow, so to speak, and sort of reap the rewards, because Cummings sort of rediscovered the form that he'd had, I suppose, when he was playing for Hibs in the Championship. And I think there are a few players at Easter Road at the moment who I think probably benefit from that sort of approach. Jair Tavares is probably one of them. Not been seen since, I think, April this year, so last season, under Lee Johnson, but then brought back in from the cold, comes on as a substitute, and limited time to make an impact in the game, but plenty of praise for him from Montgomery afterwards. So I think he was saying it's a fresh start for everybody, which I think it is, and I think that's the way Hibs fans need to look at this appointment. They need to look at this as a fresh start. I think the one thing they really don't want is another season of transition, because it starts to feel like every season is a transitional season for a variety of reasons, certainly in recent memory. So I think, yeah, as you say, I think the early signs from Nick Montgomery are that this hopefully won't be another season of transition. There will be a bit more cohesion, and as you say, it will take time, I think, to get things properly where he wants them to. But I think what we saw against Kilmarnock was quite a promising start. Obviously, going forward, he's got his first home game this weekend against St Johnstone. First of 3 home games in a row inside 7 days, actually. And I think it'll be interesting just seeing, obviously, it's a grass pitch, it's a home game, his first game at Easter Road as manager. What can you sort of see coming out of that based on what we saw against Kilmarnock and from what we've heard from him so far?
Yeah, well, I think it's fairly obvious you'd expect Hibs to come out on Saturday and be on the front foot. It's a game that they'll be expected to win, and it's. I think I'm expecting a good occasion. Like, obviously, I think fans will have been encouraged by what they saw last weekend, and I think that'll make for a positive atmosphere. I think that I'm kind of expecting a real sort of sense of anticipation come Saturday. And as you said, I think the three home games in a row it's a real opportunity to build a bit of early momentum. Obviously, none of these games are going to be a gimme as such, but I think if you come in as a manager and to see like sort of early on there that you've got three games in front of your own fans who will be backing him. I see it from what I can see. I think a lot of fans seem to have really taken to him already. He's very kind of direct and to the point in the way he communicates, and I think we've already heard a lot of good things about him from the players who have spoken. And I think it's the promise of the style of play as well. It's there's an expectation if you come to Hibs, you need to to play front foot football. You need to be on the offensive and just try to entertain. Really, I think that's obviously winning games is the main thing. But if you can serve up an attractive brand of football while you're doing that, then it kind of really makes all the difference. So I'm kind of expecting just a continuation of, I think from a fan's perspective, the good things that came across in that first half of the weekend, because it was genuine. I know can I keep banging on about it, and it was just 45 minutes of football. But I think in terms of a first 45 minutes to see that kind of almost a blueprint for what this team could be, because I think there's a feeling that there's a lot of talent in that side, and I think if it can be gotten right in terms of attacking, I think they can outside I think they'll kind of aim in the league is to be the best of the rest. Celtic and Rangers, in terms of financially, are just light years ahead of everybody else at the moment, and that's so hard to compete with. But I think if Hibs can get that right going forward, there's a lot of talent there to become a real kind of potent attacking outfit. And in terms of that kind of race for the best of the rest, sorry. If Nick Montgomery can build a bit of early momentum, I think there would be a real confidence that can be a possibility this season. But as you say, it's early days. It's early days just now, but it's certainly exciting. And I says there's certainly, I think, plenty of reasons for a bit of optimism.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think from my point of view, I've watched the first 45 minutes back a lot recently, just what we've been writing about for the site, and I think it's a lot of what was done. You think this is only after 3-4 days on the training ground. I think it is actually quite exciting from the point of view of going to watch this team under new management, to think that he's had sort of more time with them to work on more patterns of play, more sort of just, I suppose, turning the team into what he sees them as rather than what they were, a kind of mix of a sort of Lee Johnson team and a Nick Montgomery team. So I think it's no great secret that Hibs have defensively been a little bit ropey so far this season in terms of the goals they've conceded and how many they've conceded. But I think there have been signs that they are getting that out of their system. Obviously, against Kilmarnock, especially the loss of the second goal, the equaliser wasn't fantastic from a defensive point of view at all. But you'd have to think that through hard work and just, the chat from East Mains is that the players are in a lot, and they're on the training ground a lot, and they're sort of going over a number of different exercises, I suppose, and drills that they're sort of then taking into games. And I think it would be quite surprising to see them not sort of stiffen up a bit defensively. I think that's maybe one of the top priorities on Montgomery's list will be sort of making Hibs harder to score against. It sounds very simple, but then this is a man who has already got results and achieved success through playing a team in 4-4-2 and just getting by with hard work. So obviously there is some merit in keeping it simple. I think as well, as you were saying, it will be a good occasion. I think there'll be a lot of fans we burnt at Kilmarnock, will be eager to see what he can do with this team. I think, as you say, it's a very talented squad. Not really sure we've seen the best of it yet. Obviously, you've got players coming back to full fitness. You've still got some players who are sidelined, and you've got players who are, I suppose, maybe still adapting to the Scottish game a little bit. Dylan Venter, for instance, getting his first league goal against Kilmarnock. Also, Lewis Miller, I know he was here last season. I know he got a few games, but he's someone as well who I think is really getting to grips with the hurly-burly of the Premiership. And again, having worked under Montgomery already, he'll be I think it'll be interesting just to watch his progress, especially this season, given that probably, as we learned from my interview with Chris Cadden, that he's probably going to be the first choice right back until at least the turn of the year. So certainly exciting times ahead for Hibs, and exciting times ahead for us as well, as we seek to cover the club in every way possible. We'd encourage everyone to have a look at the site, do subscribe for £1 for 6 months. It's a good deal. You get a feel for what we're doing. You'll get new articles, video content every single day. You'll get game coverage, press conferences, you name it. But yeah, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for supporting us so far, if you have. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your feedback. Tell us what you want us to, what you'd like to see us cover, what you'd like to see us do, who you'd like to talk to. And yeah, just head over to hibsobserver.co.uk and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
Thank you.